Hello, my name is Joseph Kexel, and I'm running for U.S. Senate. Now, in my last video, I brought up that we have to balance the budget immediately. Now, I apologize I didn't go into much detail about how that will be done. There's different parts of my proposal. One is to go through the entire federal government and look for all unconstitutional programs. I'm a very conservative reader of the Constitution. I don't believe there's a lot the federal government should do outside of just making sure the states work together and to defend the states. So I believe many programs are unconstitutional. Some programs, though, as we get into the entitlements, are just too big to just turn off. We have to transition over time into something that's manageable and sustainable. Now, first of all, we can easily look at the military as a place for some savings, so there won't be enough savings to cover everything. We definitely have to do that. We have to maybe cut back on our bases throughout the world. Some of those bases probably serve no real defensive need. And that's the key thing there. We have to return to a defensive military posture. No more nation building. We can't afford it. We can't afford to be the policeman of the world. We just have to let the world run its course, and we have to defend our borders and our goals. Now, another thing we can do as we look into the entitlements, there are some options for Social Security. Social Security, for example, isn't totally upside down. I mean, the average person does not consume everything they put into the system. So, in theory, you could transition that to a private system. Now, private does mean you give it to Wall Street. Private means you give it back to the people. It's your money, you get it back, and we figure out how to pay that off over time. So we can balance that out. So, one advantage of such a system is being private. Guess what? The government can't borrow the money and at any moment it wishes to. So that's going to be a real beneficial situation. Now, Medicare is tougher. On average, the person who puts $1 in will expect to take $3 out. That's not complex math, folks. That can't work. So what do we do with Medicare? Well, I think the best bet with Medicare is at some point we're going to have to flatten out what we're going to provide to people and give it to the states in block grants and let the states figure out how to help the neediest, poorest, and sickest people in our society. You know, maybe the Rockefellers and the Bill Gates won't be getting much Medicare coverage. You know, maybe we'll have to decide at that point how that's going to work. But it should be a state issue to figure this out, not necessarily something that the federal government, micromanages. Now, you'll notice one thing about my proposals here. We have to have military cuts, constitutional cuts, Medicare, Social Security changes. Notice I didn't say tax increases. There's a reason for that. Tax increases generally reduce revenue because if people are taxed heavily on their investments, they don't do the investments. There's always a risk involved. See, one thing about when you invest, you can put money down for an investment and you can lose it all. Sometimes you lose those investments. So most people, when they make investments, they like to think when they do win, they'll be able to keep the money that they've earned through their wise investment. Like I said, it goes both ways on an investment. Now, one thing we have to look at right now is balancing the budget. Like I said, it's an immediate issue. It's not a 20 or 30 year plan here. This is something that's immediate. So I want you to keep me in mind for November 6th. I'm the only person out there suggesting these type of changes in our society to actually balance the budget. And I think we can go a little bit further on the cuts. We could eliminate the corporate tax. That would make our products more competitive throughout the world. And if you cut a little bit more, we could actually start a surplus and start paying off the debt so our children are not burdened with it. So, these are big plans, but I'm probably the only person that would be in the Senate suggesting these. So, if you want a real change, of course, vote Kexel for U.S. Senate. Thank you.